Hey everyone, Rick here, and this is going to be the first in a blitz of videos of me unboxing some new games and some other things from Games Workshop. So the first one we have here is Gorechosen, a game of brutal arena combat in the Age of Sigmar universe. Now, I will never touch the full Age of Sigmar game because I'm just not into it. Squad level fantasy I have other games for, and I love my rank and file style of the original Warhammer Fantasy. So, what do we have here? Well, this is set in Age of Sigmar, which is fine. The setting is fine, and it's a self-contained board game. You have these four, I guess, from what I've been told, maybe Khorne is the demon or whatever that they represent. Complexity level 1. So, that sounds pretty good. Fantasy miniatures board game. Fairly simple and quick to play. And I've seen some reviews online. If you have ever seen Joel Eddy's drive-thru reviews, I love him, and he really hit it out of the park for me with this game. So I knew I had to grab it. So let's take a look. And someone had mentioned once, do you have any kind of ceremonial dagger or anything to open these with? And normally I just use a pocket knife or scissors or something, but I decided, you know what, now that I actually thought of it, I do have this devil, I guess, kind of letter opener thing. So that's kind of cool. The opening part is like its wings. So we'll see how that works. Hopefully doesn't completely destroy the box. However, the nice thing is it kind of fits the theme, right? But anyway, here we go. Let's take a look and see what we have here with Gorechosen. The lid is off. The first thing you see right off the bat is this board, and I know there is some just miserable glare, but perhaps despite the glare you may be able to get a glimpse of just some of the gory detail that's on this mat. You can see that it is divided up into hexes, and there is some terrain on here that you have to be wary of, and thankfully it is kind of encapsulated in a red outline, so that kind of makes it stand out a bit. Now this is shrink wrap because on the other side are some very important counters and other pieces that you'll definitely want to punch out to give yourself the full board game experience. And then next, the Gorechosen Rulebook. Now this feels fairly light, and from the rules explanations that I've seen, it looks like it plays fairly light. However, there's a lot of tactical nuances that you're going to want to pay attention to. So inside the rulebook, it is a full color rulebook. Of course, with anything from GW, there's going to be some fluff in here, which is great. Kind of gets you into the game and then basically just walks you through it. Of course, there's going to be some beautiful eye candy in here. I do not want to leave this unpainted. So I was thinking I might see about having someone paint it for me, commission them to paint it, because I do not want to ruin these excellent figures. So I don't know, what even are these guys? Are these are perhaps additional figures that you could maybe purchase, and these are the cards for them that you can copy and print out, so you'll have more of a variety than just the 4 that come in the base game. This little booklet here, oh, thank goodness. If I was going to assemble this myself and paint it or whatever, it does give you a nice assembly guide. So that's excellent, very handy. Now let's see, I'm probably going to need to use regular scissors for this. these should be the 4 stat cards for the figures. We have, oh my goodness, Redarg Bloodfane. And you can see there's attributes there, what they can do well and what they can do exceptionally well. Vexnar the Reaper. So that is what it'll look like once you've assembled it, and if you can paint to that level. Otherwise, I'll show off what it looks like right out of the box in a second. If you're familiar with Games Workshop, you know all about the sprues. So these are unlike most of the board game miniatures you will see today that come out of the box fully assembled. But what I do like about these is it looks like it's 1 mini per sprue. Sometimes when you get into some of these huge, unbelievable Games Workshop games that have like 60 or 80 miniatures in it, you have these gigantic sprues and you're like, holy cow, what does this little tiny bit over here in the corner, does it go to this guy, or do I fit it over here? So with this, at least from what I can tell, it is entirely, each figure is entirely encapsulated in their own sprue. So believe it or not, yes, this is one of the figures. I'm not too familiar with them yet to know exactly who this is, but I almost want to say, judging by the axe, that it is probably Redarg Bloodfane. So believe it or not, that is Redarg right here. And then, of course, the other 3. So, absolutely, though, super high quality miniatures. I definitely want to get that point across. These guys are super detailed, right down to the wrinkles in their pants. And beyond that, you have 6 very basic 6-sided dice. You can definitely pimp up your board game with some better looking dice, if you will. And 4 bases. You're gonna probably need those. So in the old days, I don't know, do they still do the slotted bases? I never really liked those, so I'm glad they are doing these solid bases so you can get your figures on there. And last but not least, a couple decks of cards. Critical injury cards and action cards. The action cards are so cool. You got 3 different things you can do there, so depending on the situation, you might want to do this versus that, or maybe you want to do this. And then these critical injury cards, I'm not even sure what is all in this deck, but I assume by the name of the deck, critical injury, perhaps at some point you are going to have to draw these cards to find out what in the world happened to you. So, and this is apparently not all just critical injury. There's some other stuff in there too. But you're going to have staggered, vicious blow, stunned, blood is spilled. So each of those different things. There's going to be some event that happens in the game where you will then need to draw one of those cards. And then here's an initiative. So maybe those, I guess this may just kind of tell you who has the initiative, because it looks like there's 4 different colors there, probably 4 different, a different card for each of the figures. And what the hell, let's open up this other little pack of cards. That's the only reservation I have with the unboxings, is the shrink wrap around decks of cards is the most annoying, cumbersome bit of it all. I mean, you can pull out the figs, you can toss around the dice, take the lid off the box, but when it comes to the shrink wrap around decks of cards, that is where it's just the bane of my existence. But as you can see, these action cards are going to have tons of different actions, 3 on each card, so I just love that. And that just look, and the whole presentation of this game, from the background, the little blood spatters on the cards, looks just terrific. The insert looks nice. It kind of has a textured look on the bottom of some of these. Looks like there's room for maybe more stuff eventually. Looks like there is... That'd be great if they did expansions to this. How often does Games Workshop do an expansion to one of their self-contained board games? I guess sometimes quite a bit. There's already a few expansions for Warhammer Quest. Obviously, Blood Bowl has come back. They're going to be pumping out expansions for that. I love how they fit this insert to hold the sprues. So those fit nicely in there. And then, I don't know. Will this actually hold the miniatures? I don't know. If I actually get my miniatures painted, I'm probably going to want something a little more secure than that. But it's nice that at least there is a spot. Maybe if I didn't paint them, because who knows, that would actually not be a terrible place to put them. But other than that, we just have a couple other little spaces here. And then, of course, the board and counters. Let's see if you can see it a little better now. And it's double-sided also. Oh, let's see. Can I do this? I know, it's like, what's an unboxing if you don't unbox the whole thing? So this board is double-sided. There's side A. Here's side B. So very cool. Fire and brimstone and just gore. Wall-to-wall gore. Excellent. And then this is going to be some tracking chart. And then, of course, all of these little tiny counters to do something during the game. And that, folks, is the unboxing of Gorechosen. That just looks too cool. Can't wait to get it assembled and to give this one a try. So, thank you all so much for watching, as always, and until next time.